Hello! Welcome, everyone. I do have audio. Always worth checking. Might always knock it out by accident. Eek. Don't do that. Okay, we're good. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Mild Fuzz TV Live for Monday, the 21st of January, 2019. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, Renegade, David, Board Now. Was kind of creepy. David, it would be nice. Unfortunately, I woke up by a man at my door asking if I knew anything about the kingdom of God. That's a little bit creepy. Hey everyone, I have not seen Glass yet. No talk about Glass. We're not doing that. I think I'm going tomorrow. I think I'm going to see it tomorrow. But yeah, that's upcoming. So welcome, Buana. Blistering entrance. How is everyone? On this fine Monday? I'll tell you what I was doing. I was reading some comics earlier because I've got a lot of comics to read this week, mainly for elsewhere, but also because we're doing the comics monthly this week for Patreon, and I just watched an episode of the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the next commentary track. Which I've not recorded the commentary yet. That was my my pre-watch. I always watch the episodes again first before I do the commentary. I'm fine, thank you, Renegade. I'm doing okay. Board Now got nominated for 5 Buffys today on the Buffy board, so I'm feeling loved. Tell me, board, which Buffys were you nominated for? I want categories here. David, finally going to stay for one of these. It's Martin Luther King Day. That makes sense. Holiday day. Cindy, the only thing I'll say about Glass is that there isn't a post-credit scene. Okay, that's cool. You just watched the episode of Angel, Board Now? Renegade, you remembered which Buffy episode you hated but can't remember the name of it. What was it about? I'm pretty sure I can name it. If you try. Hey Victor, and welcome Cindy. I don't know if I said welcome Cindy, but welcome. Yeah, no, I watched the next episode that I've got for the commentaries, which was Becoming Part 1. So, getting to some important episodes. What's this? I'm just reading a tweet. If you didn't see it, we have a couple of new designs on the store. Mainly, I have You Got Any Vanilla shirt. I was hesitant not to put anything else up for a while because I felt like we just launched with all the logos, but it seemed to make sense to have a fun logo to have, at the start-ish. It'll probably be like maybe a new design every month or so going forward, but it felt like it made sense to do that. You watched the one with Wessy's dad. Cool. Very good hero. The episode was Xander centric. In the end, the gang is fighting a pod monster, and it had faith in it. The Zeppo? That's not a bad episode. At least I think that's what you're talking about. Where the gang's like fighting this apocalyptic thing in the library, but we're following Xander deal with like teenage zombies. No. That's a great episode, Renegade. I'll fight you on this. I'll fight you. So yeah, I started buying physical comics again this week, and I'm not sure why I've done this to myself. It's kind of weird. I mentioned this on the comics podcast at the weekend. But I got some physical books, like this one. Let's see, comics. I actually bought all these issue ones digitally already, so I've got digital codes to give away, which I'm doing on Twitter. Yes, that's the Zeppo Renegade, the one where Faith bones Xander. Buana, Rams won, so Matt will be happy. I want the Rams to beat those Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yes, as I understand it, yes, Matt's team is going to the Super Bowl, which probably means he's going to be insufferable for the next month. David, you saw me debating on Twitter. You were prepared to be the devil on your shoulder. Well, it doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter. Look, comics, they happened, unfortunately, kind of. I'm happy, but also disappointed in myself. It's a mix of emotions. But hey, they feel a bit more exciting being physical. Like something arriving in the mail every week is it's tantalizing. Does mean there's some books I won't be able to read till about Friday, but sometimes I don't start reading my books till Friday anyway, depending on what the week is. I actually kind of like it in the sense that I've got catch-up stuff to do, and I've got 2 comics podcasts now, so it kind of makes Wednesday, Thursday, despite the fact that that would traditionally be, hey, new comics come out on Wednesday, Wednesday should be new day, new comics day. It actually makes some sense for me to, like, Wednesday, Thursday's like catch-up day or trade paperback day, and then Friday, Saturday's DC Comics days, and then Sunday to Tuesday is Marvel and Indie days. That's like somehow become my reading schedule for the week now. Nothing beats physical to you, Renegade. That makes sense. Buana, 2 weeks if they win. He'll be crazy for a year. If they lose, he will be sad until April. There's only 2 weeks till the Super Bowl? Okay, that's better. Quicker the better. Let's get it over with. Board Now was nominated on the Buffy boards for the Giles Award, Superstar Award, the Sunnydale Press Award, the Class Protector Award, and the Lorne Award. Ah, dear. Yeah, Zepp's a good episode board now. Must be very active on those boards to be getting nominated for all these things. I've been on those boards before, but I have a hard time sticking around message boards for very long. I always kind of forget they exist after a little while. Your used bookstore has 99-cent comics day every month. That's cool. It's a nice way to keep reading some comics if you're feeling tight. So yeah, that was the main thing that was different about this week, is I started buying physical comics again. I now watched some movies that I reviewed with Connor. I mean, you actually know what I watched yesterday if you go and look at my Twitter, because I was complaining about the movie. You remember Board Now? That's how you first get into Mild Fuzz. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that was back when me and Alden did the Slayer show, which it's a shame that kind of had to stop. But that wasn't really that was kind of out of my control. I couldn't really do anything about that. Buana, how do you like DC's paper? I think it's alright. It's definitely a little bit different from what it used to be. But it's actually very similar to Marvel, because I got a Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue 1. And the paper's very similar, I think, between the two of them now. What's the delay from release date to receiving physical comics? They could arrive on Thursday, on a really good day, but probably Friday. They'll probably arrive on Fridays for the most part. But some weeks they might arrive on Thursday. They'll be posted on Wednesday, and they'll be posted first class, which can mean Thursday, but will definitely mean Friday at the latest. Yeah. That's nice. I miss the art being a bit bigger, is the main thing. Feel of paper. And the smell as you flick through it. Yeah. But yeah, so I got digital codes with these 3 books that arrived today. And I already had them all digitally, so if you go to DC Comics Twitter, you can retweet and have a chance of grabbing a digital code. How should you need them? Which, I mean, you guys might not, because you all read comics, but or you read comics frequently, I suppose. Renegade, I'm surprised you're going to watch Bird Box, but very interested to see your reaction to a certain scene. I have no idea which scene you're talking about, so I will not inquire. But yeah, so the movie on Wednesday night for the late stream is going to be Bird Box in the second half. Pete, do you have a favourite Star Trek series? I watched the pilot of Voyager today and was pretty impressed. Well, I've not seen a lot of them yet. Like I've seen all of original series. We've just started Next Gen. I've never seen any of Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Obviously, I've been watching Discovery, so I can't really answer that as of yet. I do know that Voyager is pretty much hated by the fans, though. So you might be alone on your Voyager impressions, or maybe it tanks after episode 1. But yeah, do you have a choice between variants at cover price? Well, technically, I don't get anything exactly at cover price because of importing like annoyances. But yeah, the regular covers, the regular variants, the B cover is the same price as the main. So in fact, actually, the Shazam issue one I got was the variant. The Gary Frank one. So, but yeah, I get the regular variants. I think you can get Marvel do a lot of the more expensive ones, but I'm not really fussed. If I have to pay more for it, I'm probably not getting the variant. Because there's a comic shop in my area. I found one. I didn't think there was any, but I actually, when I was getting the itch to buy some physical comics, I looked to see is there a comic shop near me, and I didn't go to the comic shop and didn't get like a pull list there for a couple of reasons. The main one being the price. The price was really expensive per comic, versus not even just Comixology, but like other places. So I got an online service, a subscription service that shall do me nicely. Renegade, Bored Now, the Voyager cast is really good. It has the guy who played the cowboy in Inner Space. Oh, that's cool. Captain Janeway, I think, is the lead. Yeah. But I love the Frank cover. No Netflix for you as well, because it's a horrible service. I think we've been through this before. It depends. This is very subjective. I think there's a lot of great Netflix originals, so I would disagree with the horrible service statement. But if there's nothing for you, then yeah, there's no point in having it. Da-da-da-da-da. Do you know what I should do? I should put that over there. And I should put my chat window here. In that way, I can see everything at the same time. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I guess it's because I thought the chat being under the camera was better, because it meant I was looking more or less at the camera when I was reading the chat, but this isn't that bad. Where am I? Renegade, did you ever watch Star Trek series with Scott Bakula? That's Star Trek Enterprise. I have not seen that. That'll be something we get to eventually. Like we have to get through all of Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager before we get to Enterprise. But we'll get there. It'll take a while, but we'll get there. Oh yeah, early on in the show, I should do some housekeeping, shouldn't I? I should do the promotional side of things. I should put on my corporate shilling hat for a second. Yeah, so welcome everyone to the stream for those who are here and those who can come back in. But you can go to patreon.com/Mild Fuzz TV and you can support us over there for as little as $1 per month. You can do super chats on the chat if you want to just give a one-time donation. You can go to the store, there'll be links in the description, and buy merchandise should you wish to. We get a cut of that. Obviously liking, subscribing, commenting, all these things, they all help. Watching helps. Like seriously, showing up and watching helps. But I have to do my thing. People won't do any of these things if they don't know they exist. So I have to take the time to tell everyone, like, every single thing. Anyway, where was I? With Scott back. Speaking of Star Trek and Discovery, from Board Now, do you think the storytelling would work best for that show if they did more Adventure of the Week style, but with still character and art advancement? I mean, I think the appeal to me of a modern Star Trek show like Discovery is that it is serialized more so than what the older shows were. To me, that's the big difference that should be there, because that's what you do to modernize it. But they went really extreme with all these other things, and they went like ultra slick action and kind of things like that. Which is fine to a point, because I think the premiere of season 2 is much better. And while I still think it's more of a slick action show than a Star Trek show, it's much more coherent and feels confident with itself. But when did I not recommend the DC Universe app? Or how did I not recommend it? I'll need context to respond to that. Renegade. Enterprise is a fantastic song in the opening credits. I've never actually heard it, but for some reason I know that it's The Who. Oh, the Voyager music's really good, Board Now. I've never seen the show, but the main music for Voyager is actually one of the best Star Trek themes. Quantum Leap reviews would be good. I've never seen an episode of Quantum Leap. I have no idea if the reviews would be good. Maybe someday. I feel like there's other shows that, like, I'd want to get to first, though, before I jump to something like Quantum Leap. I think going back and doing all of Fringe would be a great idea. People have asked for the Twilight Zone. I think Twilight Zone's a great idea. Me and Tim don't have any plans to replace Tales from the Crypt when that ends right now. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll consider doing Twilight Zone at some point. Well, I'll see if Tim's tempted by the notion. But chat or so ago. I mean, I think I was thinking mainly based on the TV show offerings, rather than the comics. For me, the comics being kind of like selective as opposed to like Marvel Unlimited, where it's everything past a certain date, is less appealing to me. But when I said I didn't really recommend it that much, it was mainly based on how much new original content was on offer. Because to me, when I'm talking about these streaming services, I'm usually considering the original content more than anything else. Because to me, Netflix, people complain that there's less movies on Netflix than there used to be. I actually don't care. I've probably used Netflix to watch movies that weren't made by Netflix, a couple dozen times over like 5 years. Like, I don't use it for that much. I use it mainly for the original content, mostly TV shows, but sometimes movies. Same with Amazon, the occasional random movie, but mostly it's the original content I'm using it for. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. Renegade, it's by Russell Watson, actually, called Faith of the Heart. I could have sworn I'd heard it was The Who. Anyway, never mind. Something I heard at some point, like years ago, just stuck in my head, thinking it was The Who. Hey Lewis, welcome to the stream. Board Now, I think you'd probably like it. He's talking about Quantum Leap. Watched it with your brother as a kid. Need to see Fringe. Going to start Twilight Zone soon. Twilight Zone's very good from what I've seen. I've seen the first 2 seasons or so of the original Twilight Zone, and it is very, very good. It holds up very well. I think if me and Tim did do that, we'd be very happy with it compared to Tales, which has been very all over the place in quality. And then Lewis, do you have a Nintendo Switch? I do not. I do not have a Nintendo Switch. I don't really have much of an interest in a Nintendo Switch, mainly because I don't really have much interest in Nintendo games all that much. I never had a Wii U. I never had an N64, never had a Super Nintendo or anything like that. I had a GameCube because Resident Evil went to GameCube, and it was exclusive, and I wanted to play Remake and 0 and 4, and that was that. And I did have a Wii briefly, but I got rid of it because I thought it was useless and didn't like using it. But I have no attachment to like Mario or Zelda or anything like that, so I don't really have any reason to get a Switch. But Connor loves his Switch. People seem to be loving their Switches. Not for me. Where am I? David, Fringe is goddamn fantastic. Yes, it is. Fringe is phenomenal. Once it gets going, Fringe is a great show. It really is. Renegade, you've got a PS2 and a PS3. Nothing wrong with that. PS2's got a lot of good games. PS3's got a lot of good games. I will say, being used to the PS4, like going back to the PS3 whenever I've turned mine on, has been very difficult. It feels really clunky and slow when you're used to the PS4. Born Now is wearing his Scream shirt. Born Now, I believe I was promised a photograph of this shirt. I want to see what it looks like in the wild. Does it look good? Is the quality nice? Does the logo look good on the shirt? I need to see these things, man. I mean, keep your ugly face out of it. I don't want to see your face. Just, neck down. I want to see the shirt. I'm kidding, by the way. But neck down. I want to see the shirt. Very good. I had an N64, a Sega Genesis, and a SNES. Sold them all to get your PS2. I had a PS. I had a Sega Mega Drive, which is what we called the Sega Genesis. That was my first console, and then I got a PS1 because it was the hot thing, and that's where I discovered some of my favorite games. I went to a GameCube after that because Resident Evil was my favorite franchise, and that's where that went. I eventually got a slim PS2 as well, though, and played some Silent Hills and some shit that I missed. And then that was probably about a year before I got a 360. Bizarrely though, I got a PS2 very late. Then I got a 360. And then when the PS3 Slim came out, I got that because it was finally a reasonable price. And Uncharted 2 looked cool, so I got Uncharted 1. Loved 1 and 2. Mostly played with my PS3 at that point because 360's exclusives kind of dried up and stopped being a thing, other than Forza and Halo and Gears. And then got a PS4 day one, and I also play games on my PC now. That's my map of consoles. Where am I? Renegade. I know. Bored Now. It looks good. My hungry face might be fitting since it's a horror themed shirt. I feel like there was a typo there. Autocorrect screwed you over. My hungry face might be fitting. But yeah, try and upload a picture. Yeah, just I don't know. I don't know if you're on Twitter or Facebook. Just wherever's convenient to send an image. If you send it during the stream, I'll put it up on the screen, and people can see it if you want. Oh, unless you don't want that, in which case I won't do it. It's fine. You can tell me no. That's up to you. Da 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 da. I'm sure he's pretty bored as well. I'm pretty hungry. That was a bad joke. I apologize. That was a very bad joke. I never tweeted this stream out, actually. I should probably tweet it out. Copy link address. Tweet deck. Tweeted. Wait, where was I? Buana, did you like the Supergirl Red Lanterns crossover? I never actually read it, Buana. I dropped Supergirl before that happened. I dropped Supergirl in the New 52 when it was crossing over with Superman during Hell on Earth because it was Scott Lobdell's crossover and it made me evacuate. RS, so if the leaked cover of Heroes in Crisis issue 8, also welcome to the stream, RS, this is the first you've appeared, issue 8 means what I think it means. I think Tom King might become the most hated man since JMS in One More Day. It's issue 8, issue 9 will fix it. That's my thinking right now. Like, I almost think it's pointless to get angry at anything that happens in Heroes in Crisis yet, because I'm convinced that the ending's going to change a lot of it. I don't know if it's going to change like everything. I don't know if it'll. I mean, it might change it into something else that's really bad. I mean, I have no idea, but at least right now, I don't think the cover was Saturn Girl. That was a good joke, David. You made me laugh. There was to be fair though, there was a different version of the cover that removed the bodies of issue 8. It actually makes it a really sweet cover when it takes that part out of it. But we'll see. We'll see what it does. Renegade, if you want to see an actual ugly mug, you should see me. Oh, Renegade. I'm sure you're adequately looking at best. Or worst, rather, not best. At worst. I meant that as a... That was meant to be a lukewarm compliment. It ended up being a lukewarm insult instead. I apologise. Born out. As a kid, I owned the Moonwalker game. That was a lot of fun. Michael Jackson walking down the street beating up people doing his moves. Never played that, I have to admit. Show the cover on screen, please. You mean issue 8 of Heroes in Crisis? I mean, I can do that. I want a consensus in the chat, though, if people don't want spoilers. You think the other cover was a fan edit? Really? I never saw that, actually. Or I saw the cover, but like I actually saw that one first. But we can do the cover on screen. Unless anyone objects, if anyone does not want the cover to Heroes in Crisis issue 8 on screen, if anyone doesn't want it spoiled in some capacity, then speak up now as I go find it. Renegade, what was the worst game you've ever played? Oh, let me think. Worst game I ever played. Actually, Resident Evil Gun Survivor 2. That was atrocious. Also, the movie tie-in game for King Kong. That was really bad. Yeah, well, I'll just Google it. I was going to look for the source, but Heroes in Crisis issue 8 cover. No one cares, just show cover. Alright, Sam. Need to be so demanding. Buana, George Perez officially retired from comics, even though it has been a while. He may also go to cons, much less. That's a shame. Well, he's getting old though, right? I mean, that makes sense. Right, save him his heads. Okay. And then I do this, a little trickery. Add image. There's probably quicker ways for me to do this actually, huh? Hold on. I realise this is exciting stuff as I decide the best way of doing this. Alright, here we go. Cancel that. Wait, did I just... Will this work? No, it didn't. That was diabolical. That was diabolical. Let me swap things around, and then this should work much better. Right. There we go. That should work. There you go. That was the cover for Heroes in Crisis issue 8 that has leaked. The art's quite nice. I still have to read Perez's Wonder Woman run. I've got the first couple of thick trades on Comixology though, so I will do it at some point. Renegade, you played 40 Winks. It was so boring and predictable you couldn't get through it all the way. That's a shame. That's a shame. I think I played the demo for that back in the PS1 actually. George Perez was lovely during a chat with him. Boana, that's cool. Very good hero. He tried playing Resident Evil Survivor and found out there was no save point and sold it. There's no save point in Resident Evil Survivor, but it's also very short. You can beat it in like 45 minutes. So you can go. I think the reason why people are upset is because people think that this implies that Wally's the killer. It's a very nice cover artistically. The actual art's very nice. Again, comic covers are so misleading though. I have no reason to be that upset, honestly. I have no reason to be that upset yet. So I'll put that back. Yeah. What does this mean? I mean, some people think it means he's the killer. You know, obviously, Sam just said Wally's in heaven. I don't think it necessarily means... Like, it might tease that he's the killer at the end of issue 7, and that's why the cover of issue 8 is that. But it might not actually be that. Like, comic covers so often turn out to be, like, you know, whatever, right? So, yeah. Yeah, notice the bodies, basically. Born Out, Pete, is that Resident Evil remake you were talking about a general cinema release? I don't think I've heard about it. You mean the game? There's a Resident Evil 2 remake game. There's also, there's a reboot of the movies coming eventually that they're working on, but that's a long way away. Resident Evil 2 remake is coming out on Friday, Renegade. I wish it was tomorrow, but it's coming out on Friday. Or possibly Thursday at midnight. It depends. Steam are kind of weird on PC. Steam don't always release things at midnight. Sometimes they make you wait for the general update, which is like, if I remember correctly, it's like 10 a.m. Pacific on Friday, so you can't get it at midnight no matter your time zone, which is frustrating sometimes. But it depends on the game, because some of the bigger games they'll give a midnight launch to. It's frustrating. Yeah, not a film board now. Yeah, there's a Resident Evil 2 remake, the game coming out. Looking forward to it. RS Wally West. Surprise, Sydney. I get that Scream reference. David, the one thing that convinces me that Wally might actually be dead is that it's technically a crisis. A Flash has to die. Yeah, that's what Wallace is for. Also, it's not a real crisis. Like, this is more like identity crisis, and no Flashies died in an identity crisis. Other people died, so Roy's a goner. Roy can stay dead, but Wally ain't dead. Or at least if he is, he's coming back. I'm putting my foot down. Doomsday Clock will fix it, if not the final issue. This is my stance. Renegade, okay, can't wait to see you play it. Yeah, I definitely will stream Resident Evil 2. I don't know if I'll stream it right away, though. I might play it just for myself first. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. I'll see how I feel on Friday. You don't know why your main went to Scream RS. Yeah, that's really specific. I don't get Matthew Lillard from Wally West. Not at all. Borna, when will you be reviewing that Japanese house? The film was batshit insane, but you enjoyed it a lot. I think we're... Not this Sunday. I think it's next Sunday we're recording that. This Sunday we have 2 movies that we're recording, but neither of them are that. I think we're going to be slightly late, in the sense that you assume that the movie that was voted for January will be up in January. This might actually go up in early February, but because Tim had to take a week off to go do some things, so I think we're doing that the following week. So the end of next week is when we're recording it, so it'll probably be the week after that it goes up. Buana, Roy will be back eventually as well. Yeah, Roy will be back eventually. No, obviously, like, I mean, again, I think Roy's will last a bit longer. Like, I think Roy will be dead for a while, whereas Wally, I think it'll turn out that he's not really dead at all, if that makes sense. But you're right. People who die in comics always come back. Unfortunately, Jason Todd included. Renegade, you've always thought Black Flash was pretty creepy. Black Flash is pretty creepy. It's a really creepy idea as Black Flash. Something the TV show didn't actually do such a bad job at. The TV show ruins a lot of things, but I don't think it ruined Black Flash. But yeah, so no. We have a movie we're recording this week in Screams, and then the following week we're doing the remake of that movie. So, yeah. Where was the thing? Sam, do you think DS is going to matter because DC continuity is so messed up now? DS? Was that maybe DC? Doomsday Clock? I think you mean Doomsday Clock. If so, then I would say that I think it will still matter to a point. I still think it's going to spawn some new series. I still think it's going to bring back some characters. Hopefully Johns can regain some control over the next while. I mean, things aren't too bad. I think some people are really in doom and gloom right now about DC, and I don't think it's actually that bad. But there's definitely some things it could do with being taken away from Dan Didio. Namely Rick Grayson. Renegade, here's an important question. If Tim is a guilty pleasure, what are Connor and Matt? Connor's just guilt. There's no pleasure there. And Matt's a popcorn flick. Bored. The latest Screams vote is really interesting. Guess if Candyman gets voted in, it could start another series. First film is great anyway. Well, Candyman only has, one sequel, I think, right? Or am I forgetting some direct-to-video crap that came later? But I think Candyman only has one sequel, so it wouldn't actually be that much of a commitment if that wins. Buana, Roy will lose an arm somehow on his way back. Yeah, that makes sense. Him and Aquaman, Aquaman can lose his arm and they can be one-arm buddies. They can form a new Brave and the Bold team. But RS, if Wally did kill everyone, we established in Flashpoint that he was hallucinating, so maybe this is an Old Man Logan scenario. Oh, yeah. Yeah, could he be hallucinating? I mean, it's the sort of thing where if the whole... Because one of the things we've been saying since the start is that none of it's really real, right? So if it's not real, what if it's a simulation and then Wally did kill everyone in the simulation, and the whole point is to show like how angry he really is, or how screwed up he is. So the whole point is for him to realize what's the matter with him and what's wrong, and that could be okay potentially, depending. I mean, it's a bit extreme perhaps, but it's a thing. Yeah, you meant Doomsday Clock, Sam. Yeah, I figured. It was the only thing that made sense. Buana, am I the only one who does not like Wonder Woman's current run? Well, you're not going to be the only one, but you're the only one that I've met so far, because I'm digging it a lot. I really like the current Wonder Woman. I think Wilson's a good writer, and the art's been really good. Most people who were telling us their favourites on Twitter this past week seem to like it a lot as well. Candyman has 3 sequels? What the hell? I'm familiar with Candyman and Candyman 2. Farewell to the Flesh? No, that's not Candyman 2, is it? Damn it, I thought I could remember Candyman 2's subtitle, but I can't. What's one going to do? Is there messages happening to me? Yeah, close these things, they're distracting me. I wish no distractions. I wish no distractions. Where are we? RS, have you seen Young Justice episode? Yeah, have I seen Young Justice Outsiders episode 9 yet? I have not seen the 3 episodes from Friday yet. No, We'll be watching them for Thursday. Typically that's when I watch most of the TV for DCs on Thursdays before we record. Huh. Also, I thought I'll show off the new shirt, which I painstakingly designed. Where am I? Candyman 3 was an origin story, Renegade. Okay, I assume it sucks, because it probably sucked. Bored now. Another Buffy themed thing I did today is I learned that Seth Green was in My Stepmother as an alien alongside Hannigan. I didn't know he was in that. I remember she was in that. I didn't remember that he was in that, though. That's interesting. Boana, can I just say that I didn't like what happened to... Is that about Young Justice? I'm going to ignore that and just not try and think about it. Renegade, very cool shirt. Thank you. It's really simple, but I felt like we had to have one quote shirt or something up before. Of course. So last week we thought of doing this, and this week you can buy an apron. You can buy a bag. You can buy a nice mug. That pillow throw cover, like that. Like that. You can have that on your couch. Have that on your couch. You can have a Screams After Midnight hat. All sorts of products. God, I'm shilling really hard today. It's funny, I'm actually surprised. We've had some things have sold, which is surprising to me. We've sold a couple of hoodies, we've sold a couple of shirts, a bag, a hat. It's been a whole thing. Where are we? F11. There you go. You love what board now? What are you buying soon? The vanilla shirt? The vanilla shirt? That makes sense, given the context. RS, worst case scenario of Wally being the killer, does it retroactively ruin Mark Waid and Jeff Johns' runs? Oh god, no. No. It doesn't ruin a damn thing. All those things happened, and they were also in a previous continuity as well. Also, if Wally turns out to be the killer, and it's like real, like he really has killed a bunch of people and he's like messed up, it basically means that it's something that fans of Wally West will just kind of disown, and they will go back and enjoy the proper Wally West Flash runs and just not think about his return, which would be a great shame if that happens, but I don't think for a second it ruins the Waid and Johns runs. Those runs are still great, and they were written with nothing in mind of Wally becoming a horrible person. Bored now, yeah, he plays a prom date, so he's probably the only one in one scene. That's cool. Renegade, are you going to do the dog bandana? If there's demand for the dog bandana, we can do the dog bandana, but I thought I'd have some restraint when picking up things. Sam, have you guys read Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 2 yet? Because is it worth the buy? No, I don't think any of us have read Volume 2 of Wonder Woman Earth 1. It's something we'll get to in the monthly episode for Patreon at some point, because we're working our way through all the Earth 1s. But we've only done Superman 1 and 2, Batman 1, and Green Lantern 1 so far. We're going mostly in order, but we did Green Lantern because that was new last year. So sorry I can't answer that. Buana, did you like Multiversity? I don't think I finished Multiversity. Matt and Connor read it for sure. Connor likes it a lot. I didn't dislike it. I think I was trying to catch up on it quickly. I think it was right before that Superman arc, Multiversity. Was that what it was called? What was the Superman arc called? It was like in the mid-teens of the Rebirth Tomasi. I was going to try and read it before that, and I read like 2 or 3 issues and then didn't have time. But it was okay from what I read. I should go back and read that all at some point. Man, you can get out comics for the Multiverse water bottle. It's insane. It's weird having these things. Oh, dear. Multiplicity. That was it. I knew it was similar to Multiversity. Bored now, do you have a favourite decade for film? I'd probably say either the 70s or the golden Hollywood period, like the 50s or 40s. That's a tough question. I feel like my instinct to say the 80s because of all the horror and sci-fi that I like from the 80s. Plus, I grew up with a lot of movies from the 80s in my childhood, so I kind of have the most attachment to that. But if I'm talking about what's got actually better films, that's kind of hard. Like, I think the 50s and the 70s are really, really good. Like, really good. I think the 90s is trash. The 90s is definitely on the low end. 2000s is hard to say. I don't know. That's a tough question. RS, who's more at fault if Wally is the killer? Barry and Manhattan for Flashpoint, or the Trinity for failing to properly care for him at Sanctuary? The most at fault is Dan Didio, but in context of the continuity, that's hard. I feel like I would say the Trinity for failing to take care of him, but Manhattan's a really good answer as well for taking away his family. So I guess Manhattan. You don't blame the therapist for failing to, help a victim recover in therapy. You blame the murderer for taking away their family in the first place. So I would say Manhattan's the one to blame. Reggae, your favourite decade for film might be the 90s or 2010s. 2010s has been pretty good. 2000s, I think the weird thing about 2000s and 2010s is that because this is where I've been actively engaged in film in a big way, I've seen a lot of crap from those decades. But there's been a lot of great stuff as well. But I can't help not but think of all the crap as well. Even though there was tons of crap in the 70s and 50s, but I don't really see a lot of the crap because the stuff that survived that I go back and watch is the stuff that has a reputation for being good, or at least mostly. So you have this view of the 50s and 70s where you see mostly stuff you love because you're watching stuff that most people like. And you might have the odd one that you don't connect with that like everyone else does, but for the most part you're watching movies that are classics that are well revered and things like that. So David, I'm only just realising that Flashes only die during multiverse events, not just Crisis. One even died in Multiplicity. You're quite right, David. See, I'm right. This is not a multiverse event. This is a emotional crisis. Right, again, I grew up in the 90s, so a lot of my favourite films are the 90s. See, that's the thing. I grew up in the 90s as well, but I think I liked a lot more from films from the 80s and the 90s than I did 90s movies, even though I liked a lot in the 90s as well. I think it's because 90s has really shit horror movies. Like, horror, 90s is easily one of the worst decades for horror. 60s, 70s, 80s are all better, 2010s, 2000s are better. 90s is really bad for horror. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for a lot of 90s TV. Bored now. I agree with that. Sam, I blame the New 52. Yeah, I blame the New 52 as well. That's why I said Didio. I suppose Jim Lee has to take some responsibility for that as well. But New 52 is at fault. Still not quite recovered from that. For all the good that Rebirth's done, New 52 is still rearing its ugly head at times. Do you know, I was actually looking through some of my old physical comics. I have some early New 52 stuff, and it's actually kind of distressing going through those issues and seeing adverts for season 1 of Arrow. So yeah, weird. Buana, what do you think about the hit television series Star Wars: The Clone Wars? Literally nothing. I don't think anything. I don't think about it at all. It is a blank slate of which I am apathetic. Bored now. Now you've done it, Buana. David, survivorship bias of good movies. That sounds really extreme, but it's kind of accurate. Yes. The films that survive tend to be the good ones, for the most part. Obviously, there's exceptions, but for the most part, the good ones survive, and therefore, yeah, good way of putting it. Cindy, 90s had good Jurassic Park movie, wasn't all that bad. I mean, yeah, it had Jurassic Park. It had a few good movies. I'm not saying 90s was all bad. No decade's all bad for movies. I just mean compared to the other decades, though. I think when you look at me and Connor's top 50 of the 90s lists, I think you can see that there's a lot of stuff that Like it kind of like simmers out a little bit earlier in the numbers than most top 50s do for the decades, at least in the ones where we've seen enough movies to have a proper list. Which, by the way, we're recording the second half of the top 50 the 80s on Wednesday night, before the late night stream. I am looking forward to doing that. No, actually, no, I tell a lie, we're recording that tonight because we swapped it with the monthly comics. Yeah, we're doing the rest of the countdown tonight. Got my list already. I don't have to do any work for it, but it's there. It's waiting. Yeah, Buana's getting started early. Well, to be fair, it's been almost an hour into the stream, so it's not that early. Time does fly, though, I agree. Born out, I think storytelling was much better in the 80s movies wise, but they've aged worse visually than the 90s. But 90s films don't have as many classic stories. I think I disagree with that, actually. I think 90s movies have aged far worse visually than the 80s movies have. 80s movies were still mostly practical effects. 90s has this weird transition to early CG. And in fact, the movie that me and Connor are recording a review for tonight, Batman Forever, one of the things that stuck out to me the most watching that yesterday is how god-awful all of the effects look. There is like shots of the city that are absolutely cringe-inducing. It's really, really bad. I think 80s movies have a better style to them than 90s movies do, for the most part. I'm talking about mainstream movies, I suppose. Like I'm not saying Shawshank Redemption doesn't looks like crap, because it doesn't. Shawshank Redemption looks very good. Pulp Fiction looks very good. There's good movies in the 90s. I'm not saying there isn't good movies, but I'm talking about trends. I'm talking about general feelings of things and that sort of stuff. Anyway, where was I? Yes. Jurassic Park, by the way, was the first movie I ever saw in the theatre when I was 4 years old, just to give you some personal tidbits. Buana, well, I'm excited for your reviews on Season 7 of the hit television series with Connor. Yeah, not happening. Give it up, it is not happening. RS, it won't work if Rorschach Walter came back from the dead and found out that Manhattan did to Jai and Irie, he may have attempted to kill Manhattan with a meat cleaver of kerosene. That was a really weird prediction, but if it turns out to be remotely true, I'll give you points for it, RS. I don't see Rorschach, like the original Rorschach, coming back, but, you know, I also said Jai and not Jay. I always do that with Jay's name because it's spelled weird. Buana, you owe the fans to watch the hit television series Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I owe the fans a lot. I do not owe them that. I don't think some of the heinous shit I would have to do to you lot to owe you Star Wars: The Clone Wars. You don't even want to know what you'd have to go through before I'd give that up. Renegade, got your 80s list ready. I am looking forward to it. The first half is going up publicly on Friday. Second half is going up for Patreon on Friday. So it's coming. It's coming. Bored now. Are you a Paul Verhoeven fan? Do you have a favourite film? He's very consistent. His early Dutch films are good too. And you see my point about 80s effects. I don't know if I'd say he's consistent. Although that said, I've never seen any of his Dutch films. I would say that I like Paul Verhoeven when he's on. I think RoboCop is a damn near masterpiece. And I enjoy a couple of his other films. I enjoy Total Recall. I enjoy Hollow Man well enough. They're not great movies necessarily, but they're fun. I think RoboCop's really, 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 really great though. Where is Connor? You just Star Wars Clone Wars back up. He's watching Batman Forever. That's what he's doing, because that's what we're recording tonight outside of the countdown. And the rest of 121 Extra for Patreon, which we started last night, but we were going so late because it was taking much longer than we thought that we had to do a break and say, we'll finish this tomorrow. So we'll have a change of wardrobe halfway through that. Where's next? Renegade, the only reason why I think Jurassic Park still hasn't aged is because they use practical effects. Yeah, they use practical for a lot of it. The CG effects, when they're there, have dated a bit, but they use them sparingly enough that it doesn't stick out too bad. You enjoyed the first 80s half of the list? Yeah. The first half of the list are always funny to me, actually, because they're kind of weird, because it is definitely, it's like films we like, but they're not the favourites, because the second half, when we do the top 25, that's the favourites. Those are the heavy hitters. But there's some surprises. I hope there's some surprising picks on the list as always. Yeah. Where was RS? It's not a prediction. I just think what Manhattan did to Jay and Courtney is comparable to the guy who killed the little girl in Watchmen. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Yeah, Rorschach would have a problem with that for sure. He would have a problem with it. Although I feel like Batman would have a problem with Rorschach and his methods. Cheddar popcorn. I have never tried cheddar popcorn. Born now, cool. I always enjoyed Basic Instinct. Oh, Basic Instinct's okay. I've only seen that once actually. Because I feel like the other ones I kind of grew up watching, even though they're hard R's. Like I grew up watching RoboCop. I grew up watching Total Recall. I saw Hollow Man the year it came out, which I would have been 11, so I was young enough. Basic Instinct I saw when I was older, and I remember thinking it was fine. I don't know if it stuck out to me as being great, but I mean, I'm probably due a rewatch on it though. I might have been a teenager. I might have been just enamored with some of the riskier elements of that film at the time. He did a Dutch version earlier. Oh, really? I didn't know that. His film Ellie was one of your favorite films a couple of years ago. Yeah. I'll tell you what I don't like that much. I don't like Starship Troopers all that much. I could never get into that. Maybe I'd appreciate it more now as that I'm older, but yeah, never tried cheddar popcorn. Nope. RS, do you think the Phantom Zone could hold Dr. Manhattan? That's a really interesting question. I'm going to say no, just because if he can willingly transition from universe to universe and manipulate them, then he can probably transition out of the Phantom Zone. Because he came from the Watchmen universe to the DC universe, so I assume if he can do that, he can probably get out of the Phantom Zone. Yeah, that's my answer. Good question though. Very good. Do you like the Total Recall remake? I enjoyed it. I never saw the Total Recall remake. I remember the trailers looking fine for what they were, but I never. Buana, are you not American? I don't know if you've noticed this, Buana, but my accent is maybe a little bit unconventional for an American, shall we say. Bored now. Going to sign off for an hour at least. We'll watch something with your mother. Mike's saying back in at 10. No Hero, the Total Recall remake is rubbish. There you go. We got a fight on our hands. Bye, board now. No worries. If we're still on when you come back, we'll see you then. You hated Starship Troopers, Renegade. Although the cartoon was pretty. I never saw the cartoon. I'll tell you, the one good thing about Starship Troopers is the music. The main theme from Starship Troopers is fantastic. It's the same guy who did the music for RoboCop, which also has a fantastic score. It's so brassy. It's great. If you look up Starship Troopers, it's like the what's the word? It begins with a K. It's like an alien word. It's like the name of the species or something like that, or the planet they're landing on. But it's the something drop. It's a really good track from the soundtrack. I want to say it's not Kenneth Ahulu or something like that. My mind's just jumping to Cthulhu with a K, but it's not that. There's something else. I could look it up, I suppose, but let's not do that. Someone just commented on the trailer talk saying Velvet Buzzsaw baby. Someone's excited. Which is fair. Oh, Cindy, did you get your Screams After Midnight tote bag? I expect pictures. Oh, let's see how it looks. I have no idea what the quality of the stuff is when that arrives. Like, you know, how does the logos look in the hoodies, the shirts, the bags, the hats? Renegade, I listened to the main theme from Pacific Rim after you and Connor talked about it. The theme is cool. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. What I really liked in the second one is that they didn't use it all movie until the start of Act 3. Like, they avoided it all because the first film played it all the time. The second movie avoided it until the start of Act 3, and then it kicked in, and it was like a big deal because it was like, yeah, the main theme. Right, yeah, it's time for Jaegers and Kaiju, and we're going to kick alien ass and all sorts. That was the thing. So, that's cool. It's cool, it's cool, it's cool. Where am I going? Where am I seeing today? What's happening in the world? Nothing. 3 days till Resident Evil 2 remake. Oh god. Is it 3 days? No, it's 4 days. Well, 4 days, yes. Do you know what this is? I just saw an Australian say it was 3 days till Resident Evil 2, and now I'm mad because Australia's in the future. Damn it. Stupid Australians. How dare they? How dare they? The only good thing about Australia is this. Oh, no, I'm not on the thing. Is this. The only good thing about Australia is this. What? Oh, I don't have the shortcut set up in this one. Sorry. Hold on. The only good thing about Australia is this. There we go. Anyway, where was it? Sunday, it's supposed to come later this week. No worries. That's cool. Renegade, starting to see the Pacific Rim movies. They're good fun if you like those type of movies. RS, Spider-Man, Homecoming had Iron Man. Sorry, made a mistake. Okay. Was that meant for somewhere else? Or did you have some thoughts about Spider-Man Homecoming with Iron Man that you changed your mind about? I can see it going either way. Actually, can we do a roll call for countries here? I'm curious where everyone's from. I know where some of you are from off the top of my head. But RS, where are you from? I can't remember. David, always love my handiwork. Very quiet though. I don't think you're recording desktop. I'm not. I've got it muted on. I've got my desktop muted. Tell me if this sounds more like the right volume, hon.
Tom Taylor.
Was that better? Was that more accurate to what it should be? I'm never. Now these carry between profiles, don't they? So there's no point. Yeah. Theo, welcome to the stream, and you're from the UK. Maryland, USA. USA baby. Texas, USA. Long Island, New York. That was perfect volume. Cool. Yeah, that's good for the podcast because I'll be recording desktop audio during podcasts. That was quieter because I've just got my desktop muted just now. Tara, welcome to the stream. USA now, although originally Canada. Hey, Canada's nice. Canadians are sensible people. They like Americans, but better. Okay, before everyone jumps down my throat, let's move swiftly on to other things. Yes. Here's a question. This may be a stupid question. Now, I'm familiar with Long Island, New York. However, is there a Short Island, New York? I feel this is an important question I need answered. Is there a short variation? You're in Nevada, Renegade. Yeah, I remember that. I remember you saying you're in Nevada. Struggling in the heat, no doubt. Miserable heat. Oh. The cats are all cleaning themselves. There's a mass cat bathing happening on the bed over there. Flat Circle, welcome to the stream. UK viewer, cool. David, yes, and I claim it. Oh dear. Yeah, what's happened in the last week that we can talk about? We can talk about the Ghostbusters 3 announcement plus trailer. We can talk about the season premiere of Star Trek Discovery. We could talk about many a thing that happened in the last week. Okay, Firefly's given up and might sleep. The other two are still licking themselves though. Hey Sheldon, welcome to the stream. Thank you for pronouncing it right. And it's pretty cool it's been raining. What did I say? I'm worried that I'm going to mispronounce it now when I try to say it. Nevada. What's the incorrect way of pronouncing it? Nevada. Nevada? Nevada? What's the incorrect way? Anyway, yeah, no place called Short Island as far as you know. David, though, but really, there is no short island that is any sort of famous. Yeah, just curious. It's one of those things. Like, you always hear about West Virginia. What about East Virginia? There's no East Virginia. At least you never hear about it. Every time I hear Country Roads playing, I'm like, yeah, West Virginia. It sounds great. What about East? Anyway, what was it? I'm doing some really bad stand-up comedy stuff now. Doing my Jerry Seinfeld. What's the plural of dominatrix? Dominatrixi? Dominatrices? Who are these people? Anyway, RS, yes. Iron Man was in Spider-Man Homecoming. Fury is going to be in Far From Home. Do you think Captain America will be in the third movie? Personally, I want Johnny Storm. We'll see if they work out a deal for more movies first, because technically Endgame and Far From Home are the end of the current deal with Sony and Disney for Spider-Man in the MCU. So hopefully they get a new deal, and then we can talk about what might happen in Spider-Man 3. But right now it's a little bit hairy. Hopefully they still have incentives to keep the partnership though. Tara, did you like the new captain on Discovery? I did actually. I thought Pike was really fun. I laughed a lot when they arrived at the beacon where they were expecting this red anomaly, and he's like, "I was expecting a red thing. Where's my red thing?" I did think it was a bit on the nose at one point when he turned to the camera and said, "Oh, don't worry, we're going to have fun this year. We're going to have fun along the way while we're doing these adventures." I was like, okay, I get it. You're apologising for last season. I get it. Just get on with it. It's fine. But I thought it was good. I thought it had good chemistry. I like the uniforms that are kind of like the original series, but a little bit more, advanced than just a simple sweatshirt. So, I like that. I liked him a lot. Pike was good. Pike was good. Yeah, I mostly because I was worried that in the review that I sounded very negative, and I actually really liked the premiere. I just had a couple of little concerns about things that might happen, but mostly really good. Cindy, still haven't watched the new Discovery, but glad that you guys liked it better than last season. Yeah, I'd still say it doesn't feel like super Star Trek-y. It's definitely more Star Trek-y, but it feels more like an action show than a Star Trek show, and that's okay if that's what it is. Because I'll take a good action show over a bad Star Trek show. I mean, I'll take a good Star Trek show over everything, but I would much rather have a good, solid show than something that was like last season that was kind of rough and back and forth in quality and whatever. So far, promising though. And I like the short treks as well, so hopefully Alex Kurtzman doesn't ruin it. Because there's a temptation that he might. People say Nevada. It's so stupid. Nevada. Nevada. Nasally on the Nevada. I feel like I'm doing like an alien from like a movie. Like, like not quite Jar Jar, but like an alien who speaks kind of like that. Like, Nevada. We go to the Earth, the Earth, not city, the Earth state of Nevada for the humans. We shall abduct and probe them in alley. I apologize. Sheldon, should I watch Star Trek Discovery? Wouldn't watch to catch anything. Oh, STD. You're making a joke about the acronym. That's very funny. I think that's why people call it DIS instead when they're shortening it. Like Enterprise was ENT, E-N-T. I think the actual acronym or the short version is just DIS. But yeah, people were making that jokes when it was starting, the STD stuff. Tara, you're in Virginia. I guess it's East Virginia? Yeah, like why does yours get to be the main Virginia and West has to be the tacked on West one? Right? Because East and West would be equal, but instead you're Virginia and they're like, oh, you're the second one. You're the East Virginia. I bet you're really snobbish about it as well. I bet you ride through West Virginia and just be like, you're the subpar Virginia. We're from the proper Virginia. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. Renegade, there's a place in Michigan called Hell. Not joking. Hell, Michigan. That sounds, yep, I can see it. Everything I've seen from Detroit in movies would suggest that Michigan does have an element of hell about it. Cindy, speaking of Marvel, I heard a rumor that New Mutants might possibly be straight to streaming on Hulu. That would not shock me. It's been delayed so much. It's currently still scheduled for August, but like it would not surprise me. And they've apparently reshot a lot of it. I think it's going to be a mess, like a complete and utter mess. So them shitting it out, I feel like that and Dark Phoenix are both just like Fox are just kind of like, you know what, let's just get them out there. Just their version of X-Men is going out in a whimper, unfortunately. But the quicker we can get rid of those and just be like, okay, now the MCU and Disney have X-Men and Fantastic Four, let's just have them do proper versions. Because I would love some proper X-Men feeling movies, which I don't think any of the actual X-Men movies have felt like outside of First Class. I think First Class is the one that felt the most X-Men to me. And obviously Logan's very good. But it's not an X-Men movie, so it's a Logan movie. Tara, you like Captain Pike? Best to keep your expectations low. Wink to the camera. That was basically at the moment, yeah. It was just like, yeah, keep your expectations low and it'll be better than last year, promise. Yeah. So, no, I mean, I like the characters. Do you know what my favourite thing about the premiere was, though? I loved that they did the roll call and said, hey, the people on the bridge, you're important. We should know your names. Have some personality. Have some moments. And that was cool. RS, I thought Sony Spider-Man deal included a solo trilogy for Peter and 3 cameos in other films. Now, I'm pretty sure it was 2 of each. But then they made like Avengers like a split thing, so they renegotiated for both parts of Avengers. Maybe you're right, maybe I'm misremembering, but I really thought it was 2 of each. And I've heard other people speculate about this recently, so I think I'm right, but if I'm wrong, then fair enough. David, West Virginia split from Virginia during the Civil War for political reasons. So, was one of them in the South and one wasn't? Did they split because one was against slavery and one was for? If so, which is the good one? And which is the shit one that I can mock? Because if I've been making fun of West Virginia when West Virginia is the good one that didn't support slavery, then I want to change my tune and rat on Virginia. But RS, I legit don't care about Dark Phoenix and New Mutants. I don't think anyone does. That Dark Phoenix trailer that came out right before it got pushed, which was really funny, might be the most apathetic I have felt about a superhero trailer. Oh wait, that's not true. Venom was more apathetic. Venom and Dark Phoenix were both just filled with apathy. I didn't care about either of them. It was just so weird. West was slightly more north and remained in the Union. Okay. Slightly more north. They're slightly not as terrible. But still pretty terrible, okay. Oh well. Too much to hope for, I guess. Renegade Hero, I like Days of Future Past, I even liked Apocalypse, but can't defend that one. Funny thing too, the guy who played Angel was in another movie, and he's actually a very good actor. Angel just didn't have anything to do, really, in Apocalypse. Like, I didn't hate Apocalypse, like, it's not a good movie, but there was some, like, moments I liked some of the characters, but it was definitely a bit of a messy film. But hey. Renegade, I love the idea of a horror superhero movie, but I've given up hope on New Mutants. Yeah, I like the idea of it as well. I appreciated the idea. I appreciated what they were doing with New Mutants. I appreciated that the trailer was full on a horror movie. But everything about it since has just been like, no, this is going to be terrible. Don't, set your expectations low. Even lower than Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Even lower than that. Lower than everything. Maybe lower than Venom. Probably not. Venom sucked really bad. Sophie Turner isn't a great actor. I am sorry. I mean, I don't feel very strongly about Sophie Turner. I liked her in a movie called Barely Lethal, which was Haley Steinfeld, and it was like a teen movie, but she was like a spy as well, and she was trying to, like, it was basically a history of violence, but with a teenager in high school, and she was trying to be a normal teenage girl. I really liked that movie, and Sophie Turner played the villain in that. She was like the antagonist, like, spy. I really liked that movie, but I've not really liked her in anything else that I've seen, so, I mean, yeah, make fun of her away, it's fine. Matt has a very unhealthy crush on her, because he's got a thing for redheads. Cindy, yeah, none of those Stark kids Just Sheldon. Yeah. I mean, I saw season 1 of Game of Thrones and a little bit of season 2. I don't remember it enough to have an opinion. I remember thinking Maisie Williams was okay, but that's about it. Renegade, she's not that great. Karen Gillan would have been a good choice. Yeah. Do you know what's funny about casting actors? I feel like the one thing that people always obsess about is getting someone with the right hair. And the funny thing is that for the most part, it's the easiest thing to change about someone. Like, you can change someone's hair color usually for the most part and it not be weird. But yeah, although I'm sure Connor would want legitimate gingers in ginger roles, so I suppose we won't complain. Especially since most ginger roles in comics seem to be getting taken away. So, I mean, why not? Where are we? RS, I like to think that DCAU Wally from Justice League and GLU eventually fell in love and married his in-universe Linda Park and had the twins. That's how I cope with Heroes in Crisis. Whatever gets you through it, just think happy thoughts. Think about Wally West and, just be at peace, I guess. Whatever makes it work. And then Sheldon, to Cindy, Rob Stark was good in The Bodyguard. Have not seen it. Can't comment. I don't think I've seen most of those actors in most things, now that I think about it. Or anythings. I probably wouldn't recognise most of them. As my dislike of Game of Thrones is well documented. And I tried really hard. Like, I forced myself through season 1. I forced myself about 3 episodes into season 2. And I stopped watching because I basically said, I'm only watching this because I'm supposed to like it, not because I actually do. Like, by the time I quit watching that show, I was watching it in 10-minute chunks because I couldn't stomach any more at a time because I thought it was so boring. So, not for me. People can love and whatnot. Let's not play with slate insertion. I tried that once and it went badly. We didn't know if it was working or not. Renegade, your point in hair colour is true. Cumberbatch is a strawberry blonde, but he's become a brunette for Sherlock and Doctor Strange. I've never seen him with lighter hair, funnily enough. Theo, how can you not like Game of Thrones? I just think it's painfully boring. I don't care about any of the characters. I have no one to root for. I find it to be very plodding. It's just a taste thing. I don't like fantasy stuff that much. But yeah, like I thought it was torture to try to watch Game of Thrones. I really hated it. Cindy, he was. I don't remember much about how he was in Game of Thrones. Rob was kind of a bland one. Yeah, I can't really join in this Game of Thrones talk. Renegade doesn't like it. Cool, someone's on my side. Yeah. The only fantasy thing that I really like is Witcher 3. I mean, Witcher in general, I suppose, but Witcher 3 is the one that I've played all of and loved. But I don't like Game of Thrones. I hate Lord of the Rings. Harold, welcome to the stream. Are you talking about Game of Thrones? Totally boring. I had an ex-girlfriend who made me watch the first season, and I broke up with her after that. Well, I'm glad someone's on my side. Maybe a bit extreme, but there you go. Just Sheldon, the book was better than the show. George R. R. Martin loves food, and he goes into great detail about food, and he loves to gut people if you actually read A Song of Ice and Fire. I don't think it's for me. I don't read a whole lot of novels. I should read more. I absolutely should. But I definitely won't be reading fantasy if I do. Like, there's definitely other things I'd much rather, like... Horror and sci-fi are the two things I'll gravitate towards if I'm going to read stuff. So, yeah. I will tell you though this, I think supernatural horror works better in a book. I feel like supernatural movies are very, more often not misses instead of hits. But, yeah. Have you ever considered putting the chat on screen? Streamlabs has an easy to add use widget. I have considered it, David. The reason why I haven't is one, because YouTube has chat replay anyway. and secondly because the basically just for moderation purposes, if someone puts in something that the auto filter doesn't catch that I want to like, get rid of, I don't want it to be on the screen so that it's there forever. I want to be able to moderate a little bit. Not that I've had to do it much, but in the rare occasion that has to happen, I don't want it to be on the screen. If the auto thing doesn't catch it, I mean the auto thing catches most things. If anything, it catches too much, and I have to approve things. Um, but that's why. I mean, I could do it. It's easy enough to do. I don't even need a widget. I could literally just capture the box and put it on the screen. YouTube's chat replay is actually quite good. Whenever I've clicked on a stream after the fact, it's actually better than Twitch's. It loads in really, really easy. David, all good, makes sense. You watch back streams on your TV, so the chat isn't easily there. But you think you're in the minority. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I get why that'd be appealing. Depends on what you're watching on it, I suppose. Renegade, you've had one message removed, but you've been good. I never removed a message from you, but if the auto thing caught it and I didn't approve it because I missed it, then apologies. But I certainly don't think you put in anything that was worth removing. But yeah, that's why it's just for moderation reasons, just so that something doesn't go up that I would have not let go through. Basically that simple. But yeah, so Babylon 5's back. Went up for Patreon this past week. It'll come up for the public in a few days. I'm enjoying getting back into that. It's very good science fiction. Maybe I'll try and talk Tim into Twilight Zone. I didn't think I wanted it to replace Tales from the Crypt, but now that it's ending and we're getting close, I'm like, yeah, maybe a good show like Twilight Zone would be good. I'll see if he's feeling up to it. Not promising anything though. Maybe take a break for a while before we do anything else. You used the W word as a joke. W word? I'm thinking, huh? W. Oh, whore? Did you use the word whore? If there's another more obvious W word that I'm not thinking of, then I look a fool, but that's where my mind went. So, yeah. So anyone who has a Patreon, actually, the 121 Influx 121 extra that's coming up this week is basically like a rundown of the movies coming out this year and just our thoughts and feelings on them. It's kind of like a preview for the year, essentially. That's the one. Okay, as long as I know. Why to make sure I'm up on my swearing for the YouTubes. Need to know what they're counting as bad. I mean, we avoid saying F-bombs usually, and obviously anything harsher than that, just in case they get fussy with their advertising rules and like, nah, you can't say that, and then demonetized, because they're lame like that. They're very lame. That said, though, their automatic demonetization of things has gotten a lot better. I wonder if I don't know if the system got better. I wonder if if it keeps approving things on the same channel often enough, it starts to trust you more, so it doesn't assume that you're doing bad things. But I don't know if that's just wishful thinking or if the system's gotten better. Tara, you couldn't get into Witcher 3. I don't know why I couldn't get into it, and the Henry Cavill picture looked a little silly. I know I'm missing out. I mean, the Henry Cavill picture did look silly. Like, there's no debating that. He looked a little bit weird in that. But we have seen bad PR photos before that have ended up looking fine in the show, so I'm not super worried. Witcher 3 is really good, though. I don't know whether you played games, though, Tara. What games do you like? What's your favourites the last few years? What do you like? I really liked Witcher 3, though. Witcher 3 had, like, really good storytelling, which I appreciated. And I really grew to like Siri. Renegade, I noticed you went back on F-bombs. I watched a lot of your old videos and you guys swore like sailors. We swore a lot in the old videos, we did. We've gotten better. Bitch be on network TV now, so yeah, we can say bitch. I don't try to say bitch too often though. You need to use it in the right places. Tara, oh boy. Cindy, how close are you guys to finishing Tales from the Crypt? The last one we recorded was episode 4 of season 7, and I think there's 13 episodes in season 7, so we have about 9 left, I think. We should be recording the next one this Sunday. 4's recorded, it's not went up yet on Patreon. I've kind of spread them out a little bit because I knew we couldn't record them for a few weeks. So it's been kind of spotty schedule-wise for the last little while. But the time's been spent on movies. Tara, last year you played Far Cry 5, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Lego Supervillains. Of those, I love God of War and Spider-Man. I didn't play any of the other ones. I'm not really getting an interest in Red Dead 2. Far Cry 3 and Blood Dragon were pretty good, but I've not really been tempted to play any of the ones since then. I mean, they're fine games, there's nothing wrong with them. Just never been super enthusiastic. Lego games are Lego games. They're fun, but once you've played one Lego game, you've kind of played them all, so it's just when the mood strikes. I played the hell out of the first Lego Batman, but I tried playing Lego Batman 2 and got bored very quickly because I felt like, this just kind of feels like the same. maybe I'll get in the mood again. I've got Lego Batman 2 on the PC. I'll play it at some point. I'm sure. But God of War and Spider-Man are very, very good. I really like both of those. Good stories, good combat, good stuff. David, did you guys ever attempt to get one of those Audible, Skillshare, etc. sponsorships? We never have tried to get a sponsorship. Honestly, I've never looked into it. See, I've always assumed that we're not big enough for one, that they wouldn't want to give us a sponsorship. Maybe you don't have to be that big to get one. I don't know. I assumed that you had to be big, have a certain audience size for it. Tara, yeah, Lego games are guilty pleasure. Comfort food games for me. Yeah, I can see that. They're very simple and just easy. Like it's the sort of game you put on when you listen to like a podcast or us. Like you put on like one of our 2-hour movie reviews and you just sit and play Lego Batman or whatever. Like that those are great games for that. It's the same as doing side quests and like RPGs. Like that's good podcast listening time. Red Dead 2 is worth it. I couldn't get into the first one, and I'm not. Something about Rockstar I've just never worked for me. I don't really like GTA either. Maybe I'll try it when it's cheap one day, but yeah. Resident Evil 2 Remake's out this week though. I am all set. Deluxe edition is paid for and pre-ordered, and I'll be preloading it and I'll be playing that to death because Resident Evil's my franchise. It's my baby. And it's finally Resident Evil again after 15 goddamn years of not being Resident Evil. I'm delighted. Renegade, I haven't been playing games too much lately. Winter Blues hit me hard, so I've just been watching YouTube. I've not been playing much recently myself either, actually. I've been playing some Slay the Spire, a little bit of Tetris Effect. Tetris Effect's really good, by the way. If you got a PS4, Tetris Effect is worth getting if you like Tetris. It is hypnotic and fantastic. It's addictive as well. Lego Movie 2 trailer is so lukewarm. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of lukewarm in the first Lego Movie, but I mean, I'm sure the second will please people who liked it. Tara, I was thinking about getting Resident Evil 2. You've never played one. Oh, baby. Resident Evil, I mean, playing the original games now might be tough at first because they're kind of old school and they're fixed camera angles and they've got like kind of tank controls. Although I love all that stuff and I'll defend it to death. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, I think it's new person friendly. I think it works for a new person, absolutely. There'll be a few things you'll have to learn because it's survival horror. Like you have to learn to conserve your ammo a little bit. You can't necessarily kill everything, those kind of things. But the demo was really good. I mean, play the demo. It's got a time limit on it. You can only play it for 30 minutes. But play the demo, which you can get on PS4, Xbox, or PC, and see if you like it. See if you like the taste. It's a really quick taste of it, but it's really good. So, and then if you like it a little bit, I can recommend some other Resident Evil games to pick up, maybe cheaper before you get two. But two is the most like the old games while still being new. Whereas four's a really great action game, but loses out the survival horror, the puzzles, and the conservation elements of it. Four's more of a just shoot everything game. But I love Resident Evil so much. Resident Evil 2 was so good. That was so good. Sheldon, I just play Candy Crush while watching podcasts. That's fair enough. I've not really played much Candy Crush myself. David, what's in the deluxe edition? There's some extra costumes and some extra weapons for unlock, but the main thing that I wanted the deluxe version for was the original soundtrack swap. You can turn the music so that it's the music from the original game, and I love that soundtrack. So that for when I play it a second time, I am going to love using that. So, and it wasn't that much more expensive, relatively speaking. Renegade Tower, definitely play 2 and 4. They're the best in my opinion. I love Resident Evil 1 Remake. I love 2. I love 3. I love Code Veronica. I love 4. Although 4 is very different. Flat Circle, personal taste aside, do you worry that The Witcher will suffer from Game of Thrones comparisons after the big budget finale? Could be, yeah. And I think, obviously not coming from me, but I think any fantasy show that happens now is going to be compared to Game of Thrones. Like Amazon's doing a Lord of the Rings series, that is going to be compared to Game of Thrones. Everything will be. So, and it could be that everyone will have had their fantasy fix, and that they'll find that no new big budget fantasy shows actually work that well because, people watched Game of Thrones for 8 years and that was enough. Like, they don't want another one. They want something different now in the large, populist sense. So, it could be. I hope it's good, but I'm trepidatious. Renegade, I would love a Resident Evil 3 remake. Play with the city more and make Nemesis scary. I think it'll happen. I think Resident Evil 2 remake will sell well, and I think 3 remake will happen. It won't happen next. We'll get Resident Evil 8 first. But I think remake 3 will happen after that. I genuinely do. Just Sheldon, the longest podcast I watched on YouTube was like 5 hours and 25 minutes. That doesn't surprise me. We've had a couple of 3-hour plus ones. What's insane actually is that there's a rival. I say rival, we're not rivals, but there's a DC Comics podcast other than us called Weird Science, whose episodes range from 8 to 10 hours long every week, which is madness to me. I think we go long when we hit 3 hours, but that's what it is. Renegade, hey, I love Code Veronica too. Screw the last battle though. The last battle's it's a bit iffy, but I like Code Veronica. I just love that style of survival horror. I love having to find keys and solve puzzles, conserving ammunition, the atmosphere. I love it. Have you played Resident Evil Dead Aim? It's fun, but the controls take a lot of getting used to. I have never played Dead Aim. No, never played that. Never played Dead Aim. Never played the Outbreaks. I've played both Revelations games. I played the first Survivor almost all the way through. I tried the second Survivor and quit within 5 minutes because the controls were atrocious. But yeah. No, it's Resident Evil time. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I think I've intentionally not been playing many games the last few weeks because I know I'm going to be wanting to play that a lot when it hits. So I've been reading comics and stuff, and I've got movies to watch. So little nerd content to consume, and so little time. It hurts. Because we're doing our TV, or not TV, we're doing our TV awards. We're doing a movie awards. We're recording that the day of the Oscars, I think, and we, I think we're planning on doing some extra movies before we get there, at least personally, if not for a show. And I'm hoping to really shake up my top 10 by seeing some great movies that I've missed from 2018. That is the hope. Very good. I've played the director's cut of the first one and 2 through 6. Director's cut's basically the same game. It's just got some extras. But you've still played one if you played the director's cut. You should get Remake though. Get Resident Evil Remake. Unless you're counting that in the 2 through 6, which you might be. Because Remake's on PS3. I think Zero was as well. Remake was definitely on both PS3 and PS4, but I think Zero was too. There's no reason why it couldn't have been on PS3. That'll run well enough. Also, I'm proud of us. We actually talked about what's in the thumbnail this week. The last couple of live streams, I've put something in the thumbnail that I think will come up in conversation, and then it doesn't, and it looks stupid afterwards. But Star Trek was in the thumbnail, and we talked about Star Trek, so it's accurate. Yeah, the remake's on PS3, and I think Zero is as well. Yeah, it's on PSN. I don't know if you can buy the physical versions of it. I think that might have just been PS4, but you can buy it on PSN. I think there's like a 2-pack with them that you can get for cheap. Tara, I don't know how you have enough time to do everything that you do plus play video games. That is a great question. I don't know either. I go through cycles where there's one thing that I'm more obsessed with for a few weeks. So my free time is focused on the one thing, right? So this past few weeks, it's mostly been reading comics. I've been reading a lot of comics, catching up for the other podcast. But there'll be other times where all my free time will go to watching movies because I'll feel like I've been neglecting movies for a while, so I'll watch movies for a long time for a few weeks. And then I'll get in a video game mood and I'll spend most of my free time playing video games outside of what I do for the shows. So I wish that I could just evenly do everything side by side, but I never can. I always get excited about one thing and focus on it outside of what I do for the shows. I don't tend to watch much TV outside of the shows though, because we watch a lot of TV for shows and I don't feel like I need to for the most part. But yeah, Renegade, is it? I said that already. Yes, fine remake. Yes. Harold, did you ever play Alien Isolation? I did. I played all of that in October 2015, a year after it came out. And despite the fact that I don't typically like stealth horror games, the first person, run and hide games, I actually loved that game. I thought the atmosphere was phenomenal. It felt like it was in an alien movie in the most authentic way possible. And once I got through some of the game and I got some better tools and weapons that could fend off the alien a little bit, the stealth stuff was less frustrating, and it was genuinely quite scary. I think Alien Isolation is legitimately the scariest game I've ever played. And it felt like an accomplishment finishing that game. Like, I felt proud that I got through it. It was a little bit too long, but it was fantastic. I liked Alien Isolation a lot. Flat Circle, best Resident Evil line, Jill Sandwich of Master Unlocking. Well, I think I have to go with Jill Sandwich. But I'll give you one of my favourite recent Resident Evil lines, which is a reference to that. Is in Resident Evil Revelations 2, it's Claire Redfield from the second game who's in that, and she's actually with Barry Burton's daughter, Moira. And Barry's one of the characters in Resident Evil. He's the one who says Jill Sandwich. So there's a trap in Resident Evil Revelations 2 where Claire's, and there's two walls closing in, and she's going to get crushed, and she sort of jumps up at the last minute, and it's fine. And after everything calms down, she turns to Moira, Barry's daughter, and says, "Hey, I was almost a Claire Sandwich." And Moira says, "Does he tell everyone that story?" I laughed so hard. That was a fantastic reference to the first game. That game won me over with that line of dialogue. That was so good. Alright. Renegade, I watched all your playthrough of Alien. You freaking out was hilarious. Yeah, it's a shame that the whole thing's not on YouTube. The last few hours of it got lost, unfortunately, before it could go on YouTube. But it is quite it is quite funny seeing me freak out. Have you ever thought of doing a best horror game music? I saw someone do that and thought it would be fun. I don't know if I mean, maybe a top 10. I don't know if I could do like a 50 or anything like that. Unless we're doing individual tracks, in which case, maybe. I could probably do like a top 10 Resident Evil tracks from the games. That could be fun. Because I know the music well enough in those games that I can pick specific things and go, no, main hall from Resident Evil, save room from 2, save room from 3, boss fight music from the end of, whatever. Did you play Chester the Cheetos game? That was my first love. I have never even heard of that game, Buana. You're hitting me with some weird shit. Harold, I completely agree with you. I played it in the dark with headphones and it was awesome. Yeah, Alien Isolation is actually really good. It took me a while to get into because I tried playing it when it came out in 2014, and I got like maybe an hour into it and I wasn't really feeling the stealth stuff. And I tried it again a year later on stream and got through it, and it was really, really good. So it takes a bit of effort, but it's worth it, I thought. Hey Richard, welcome to the stream. I know you're not the biggest fan of Jason Todd, but what if? And I think this, in where the current Batman Beyond story arc is going, he sacrificed himself to save another Robin from Joker, aka Matt. Interesting. So I don't know what you're asking me, as if that would be good. Well, if he sacrificed himself, he'd be dead. So I'm on board immediately with that. But yeah, I mean, it'd be a good way for him to go out if he's going to. If he cares enough to like save another Robin, like that could be something. Renegade, scariest game you've ever played is Silent Hill. Silent Hill's pretty spooky. Silent games are really good. The first three are anyway. But Alien is a close second. You should check out a PC game called Phobia 1.5. It's super scary. Scary. Interesting. I haven't heard of that, but sounds interesting. Buana, funniest movie, Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity is okay. The third one's okay too. I think the third one's the best one. Then it just kind of got old and went really downhill really quickly with 4 and 5 and 6. I think there was 6 of them. I appreciated that film as what you can do with no budget. As someone who has toyed with wanting to make movies, the idea of doing something with next to no money is impressive to me. I can get behind it. Did I play Dead by Daylight, David? I have not played Dead by Daylight. It never... It's not that it didn't appeal to me. It looked okay from what it was, but it's one of those things where there's so many zombie games that it was kind of a hard sell. Like, it was like, well, I've got Resident Evil, I've got Dead Rising, I've got this and that. Do I need, Dead by Daylight as well? And I heard that people liked it, although it wasn't for everyone. But it improved a lot over time. Like the Game of the Year version they did with all the updates was much better from what I remember hearing. But I never played it. No. Oh, hey Wesker. Do you want a cameo on the stream, cat? You're live on the internet. Here. Hey Wesker. Your whiskers are tickling me, cat. Yes. And speaking of Resident Evil, Wesker here is named after a character in Resident Evil. Aren't you? Ah, found you. There you go, cat. Oh, Dead by Daylight's the multiplayer game. Okay, no, I've not played that. I don't like multiplayer games. Yeah, I'm thinking... David thinks we're thinking of... You're thinking of something else as well. No, we're thinking of Dying Light. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of Dying Light. Dying Light's the game I was talking about there. Dead by Daylight's the game with Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger in it and stuff. It's cool that they're all in there, but I'm not into multiplayer stuff. I like single player games. And he looks like Salem Tara. Yeah, he does a bit, yeah. He looks like Salem. I've got a ginger... Firefly's a ginger cat. I mean, I really could have called them Salem and Jonesy if I wanted to, but I wanted to be especially nerdy and picked other things. Plus, it'd be weird if I didn't have a proper cat name for Garrus. Like, if he was the one cat that wasn't named after another cat. If he was the one that was like, something else. Buana, I laughed so much during Paranormal Activity while the whole theater was scared. My ex was freaking out. I think with horror, you have to be willing to give yourself to it. Like, if you... Like, some things are just laughably bad and that's fine. But I think there's some horror movies where if you are intentionally trying not to, like, be scared at it, you you won't be. The movie's not going to break through that. You have to be kind of willing to go along with it, I suppose is what I'm saying. I've compared it before to completing the handshake. You have to reach out and take the hand. You can't just stand there and insist it be taken. Renegade, I found the name of that found footage Raptor movie. It's called Area 407. This sounds awful. Did you tell me it was awful? Or does it just sound awful? Because it sounds awful. Josh Sheldon, oh, you know that new show on Fox, The Passage? The big bad are vampires who can send thoughts to you through your dreams. I knew it was a vampire show. I feel like when they first announced that, it was meant to be post-apocalyptic, but nothing that I saw in the trailer implied that it was post-apocalyptic. So I don't know if it changed its premise a lot, because I think they reshot the pilot. So they might have completely changed some of the premise. It was always vampires, though. I remember that. Buana, I hate horror. I always find something. I assume that's a typo. To keep me from getting scared. Yeah, if you insist on trying not to be scared, then it'll work, and it won't be effective, and therefore you just shouldn't watch it. Is basically my thing. With horror, with any art really, to be honest, but with horror especially, you have to be willing to go for the ride. And if you try and take yourself out of it, it'll work. It won't work. You know, the movie won't work for you because you've intentionally kind of try to avoid it, essentially. Vampires created by the government. Yeah, I think that was the thing, yeah. Yeah, we didn't try that. We did try Roswell, though. We got a review of Roswell up. It was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. Obviously we tried True Detective Season 3, which wasn't bad. Like, True Detective Season 3's first two episodes were not bad. We were just kind of like, yeah, these are fine. Some people will really like this, but we weren't really feeling it too much. Cindy, I thought that it was funny that in The Passage how they don't want to call the creatures vampires like they do with zombies in Shaun of the Dead. Huh. That's kind of weird, avoiding them calling vampires. Like, they do that with zombies all the time and all that stuff, but with vampires it's especially weird. It's kind of like, I have not watched Walking Dead in a long time, but in early Walking Dead, they always referred to them as walkers. They never called them zombies. Same with the comic, I think, actually. Which I've actually read way more of the comic than I've seen of the show. Renegade, I love horror, but I don't really get scared anymore, sadly. You've gone numb. Yeah, I don't really get scared anymore either. I never really have. Y'all hated it. Well, we didn't hate True Detective. We hated Roswell, which might be what you're talking about. It's hard to tell because of the delay. Because I said these things like 25 seconds ago. And Near Dark, they never used the word vampire. That's true. I think in Near Dark, though, they didn't come up with a different name, though. I think what bothers me in like Walking Dead is that they have to come up with another name to work instead of zombie. In Near Dark, they just never call them anything. And it's fine. Like, it never comes up. It's never like, oh, what are these things called? Oh, these, you know... They basically just treat it like, oh, these people have a disease kind of thing. As opposed to, you know, this is what we'll call these people. Yeah. Tara, did the Evil Dead remake scare you? I couldn't sleep for a month. It didn't scare me, but I did love it. I love the Evil Dead remake. I actually think that's a really good movie. I love Jane Levi. I love the gore in that movie. The raining blood, the things going through eyes, the blades, the chainsaws. It was like a perfect balance of a more serious horror movie, but still with all the extreme stuff from Evil Dead. Really, really liked the Evil Dead remake. Cindy, saw episode 3 of True Detective this morning. There were a few scenes I liked, but mostly it was just another okay episode. Yeah, it's a really slow burn, and I don't know if it's a slow burn that I'm assuming will pay off for me, which is why we didn't take it. And we wanted to fit in some extra movies. For example, tonight we're doing a Batman movie for March in advance instead of a True Detective, which opens up another slot for something else. So it helps with the schedule a little bit. Renegade, did you ever play PT? Makes me so sad we'll never get Silent Hills. I did play PT. In fact, PT is still on my PS4. I could stream PT if I wanted to. I played it quite a bit. I love PT. I am also very sad that Silent Hills will never be a thing. Goddamn Konami. Buana, is Solomon Grundy a zombie or allergic to living? um, I think Solomon Grundy is a unique thing. I don't think he's just a straight up zombie. I think there's more to it than that. Allergic to living is a funny way of putting it though. Tara, oh yeah, one of the best remakes of all time, I think. Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. I mean, I think that, if you're talking best remakes, you're thinking about The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, not the 2011 one. And you're thinking about Evil Dead remake. The list is fairly short of what ones are good, but I really liked that movie. It was really good. And it flipped my expectations in a way as well that I wasn't expecting. That was really nice. Hostel was a movie you hated, Buana. Yeah, Hostel's not very good. Very good. Eli Roth, not that great a director. Just Sheldon, oh yeah, Walking Dead zombie movies never existed in that. That's what Robert Kirkman said. Yeah, that's always kind of weird to me. It makes sense when you're watching the original Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead because they were the things that started the modern zombie, right? Modern zombies were invented in Night of the Living Dead, so it makes sense that none of the characters know what they are. It's kind of weird though now having characters not know what a zombie is. It feels so common, but it's a creative choice, which makes sense. Renegade, yeah, you hate Hostel 2, you hate torture porn. Yeah, I hate it for the most part. There's one or two examples where it kind of works, but for the most part, it's just kind of unnecessary. Yeah, that's the word I'd use. Renegade, what do you think of Death Stranding? It looks too strange for me. I'm intrigued. Like I don't know if I'm going to like Death Stranding, but I'm along for the ride, and I will perhaps play it. As someone who can never get into Metal Gear Solid, partly because I missed the boat, I'm intrigued to play a weird Kojima game, and he kind of won me over with PT, so I'll give it a try, probably. Who knows what it's about though. Tara, Evil Dead remake should have won an Oscar for best makeup. Why do you think horror films don't get nominated for makeup? That's a really good question. I think horror movies just get ignored in general. Like, they're willing to give the blockbuster stuff like makeup and technical stuff and sound mixing and things like that, but ignore them for the big awards. Horror movies get ignored almost entirely. Get Out was a really, extreme example or an exception to that rule. They just don't like horror movies, which is weird to me because, like, some years, like, I would pick it, It Follows, for me, would be, like, the best movie of 2015. And, well, I don't necessarily expect them to agree and give it Best Picture. It's kind of weird that it didn't get nominated for a single thing. Like, the music was fantastic. No music nomination. Cinematography was fantastic. No nomination for that. Like, it didn't get anything. They're kind of snobby, basically. They look down on horror as just essentially violent porn, I guess. They don't like it. They're assholes. That's my answer. They don't really treat sci-fi all that well either, but horror especially gets shat on. RS, considering the Action Comics 999, Lois told her father that the idea of Superman taking control of Earth was ludicrous, how do you think she would react to the Injustice universe? Oh, horribly. She would hate what he's become. She would hate it with a passion. If Lois from another universe could show up and tell him to cut it out, it would probably fix him. It would probably make him go, you know what, Lois, quite right. I'll stop being a dickhead and start being Superman again. But yeah, Renegade Get Out, I think, was only nominated because the Academy was trying to save face, which is sad. I mean, yeah, I think there's some truth in that. There's the Academy trying to turn around the public opinion of their politics, I guess, because they've made a lot of shitty decisions in the past, and it's a thing, something that's hopefully getting better, but yeah. Buana 999, I think, was Jurgen stretching for 1000, but Injustice doesn't exist according to Convergence, and I'll keep Injustice dead. Injustice doesn't have to exist in the multiverse with the rest of the DCU, though, really. It can just be its own thing. I think that's okay. Tara, Suicide Squad won makeup the same year that Conjuring 2 came out, which that makeup on The Nun was way better than anything in Suicide Squad. The fact that Suicide Squad is an Oscar-winning film is laughable. That film is an absolute travesty from start to finish. It is a mess. It is an unedited mess, or well, essentially no, it's not unedited. It's an over-edited mess. That is, it is 101 how you don't put a film together. The fact that has an Oscar is baffling. It's the same with visual effects. Like the year Transformers came out, regardless of what your thoughts on Transformers is quality-wise, Transformers lost visual effects to the Golden Compass, which had a really bad CGI polar bear in it. Like, you can say what you want about Transformers, but the CG of the Autobots and the Transformers in that movie was kind of amazing at the time, right? And it's just kind of weird how they don't recognize these things. It's bizarre. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Rude Boy. No worries. Where am I? Buana, you hate Convergence, Pete, but it gave us Superboy. That's fair. To be fair, I don't hate it in the sense that I've read it and hate it. I've not read it and I assume it's terrible and don't want to read it. So that's how I feel about Convergence. But you're right, it did give us Superboy. Renegade Hero. The only other horror movies that I know that have been nominated are Silence of the Lambs, Psycho, and Misery. And honestly, the only one out of those that I'd say is an outright horror movie, Psycho. Silence of the Lambs and Misery are kind of borderline thriller movies, more so. Sheldon, Ray of the Superman was Lois Lane's movie. I agree it was Lois Lane's movie, and I like that. I think that was the best thing about it, is that it was Lois Lane's movie. I mean, with Superman gone, it should be Lois Lane's movie. Buana, Suicide Squad could have been cool if it had another story. Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems as well, but there's a ton of problems with that. Cindy, the voters probably don't even watch most of the movies. That is true. I don't think they do. It's kind of weird. They're so jaded and cynical, it feels like they don't care about things. They just kind of gravitate towards the obvious things. Hey, Mako, welcome to the stream. I'm fairly certain that there's categories where the voters at the Academy just like tick the box because they like the movie, or they like the director and they've not seen the movies yet or something. Like, I do genuinely feel that there's some voters who will just tick the same movie in every category regardless of what the category is. Even if the acting is better than, in another movie, they'll just like, you know what, my favourite movie of the year is, Bohemian Rhapsody, so I'm just going to tick Bohemian Rhapsody in every category it's in, because that's easier than thinking of anything. Oh, I came at the end, Mako. Yeah, you kind of did. You kind of did. You came in at the end. I won't say it the way you said it. It sounds a bit more innuendo the way you said it. Most people come at the end. We're getting lewd. Yeah, I actually think I have to wrap this up. So apologies to Mako and Rude Boy who just arrived. But I do think I have to end this a little bit earlier this week. Should be a longer stream next week though. And remember, the late stream is coming on Wednesday. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up to the stream and supporting the channel and the show and everything else. Go over to Patreon, super chats, all these things. Yes, gross. Sorry, Tara. I apologise. I do apologise. That was a bad joke. But that is me. So thank you once again for showing up. Look forward to the stuff that's coming up. And I will see you guys again. So late streams on Wednesday night this week, and we're watching Bird Box in the second half. But if you want to just shop for the first half for the Q&A stuff, that's cool too. And Monday, regular time next week. I will see you guys then. Goodbye. Thanks, guys. Oh, Nico Dav just showed up. Welcome, Nico Dav. Bye, Nico Dav. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it a lot. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.